Oh, well, quick update. We moved the elevator this morning to the next crib, and then Dad and I spent the rest of the morning digging up potatoes. We have a small potato patch here that's just for us at the farm, and it seemed like a good day to get that done because we're expecting low temperatures, and we'd kind of let those things go too long anyway. So got those out of the ground, had some lunch, and then we went and scouted the fields. We've pretty well picked off the high ground corn at this point, and we were hoping maybe there'd be a couple of spots we could get into that weren't real muddy, and we couldn't find anything. Everywhere that we were scouting around, there's a mud patch that we can't get through. So we are gonna wait. There's bitter cold weather coming. I don't know, I guess maybe not bitter cold, but for November, easily well below normal. A couple of days up ahead here with highs in the teens or the low 20s, and quite cold at night. So we're gonna wait until that ground freezes up, and we'll finish harvesting the corn when we get to that point. He's out running the stalk chopper, and I'm gonna take the M here and go pick some more rocks in the soybean fields, try to get those cleaned up before we are done with the season. And that's it for now. We'll catch up when we get back to picking corn. Well, good morning, Dad.
Good morning.
What are we up to today?
Well, today it's really cold, and we've been waiting for the ground to freeze so we can get into some of the wet spots and finish picking out the corn. So we have a couple of repair things to do on the stalk chopper and the corn picker, and then we're going to go out and see if we can get over the frozen ground and get the rest of the corn harvested and the corn stalks chopped, and then we'll be done.
There we go.
That's today's deal.
That's today's deal.
Yep.
Well, it's a cold morning to get these old diesels fired up. We had to roll the 686 down the hill to get her started. We had to replace a bolt in one of the corn picker snoots because you really don't want your snoots to get loose. And then the stalk chopper here lost a knife, that one that typically goes right over a corn row, so wasn't doing quite as good a job, so I'm replacing that. It's been a couple of days since we were picking because we got into a lot of mud, and the only parts of the fields left are really muddy, so we're gonna give it a shot today. It's 27 degrees. It's been in the low teens overnight, so we're hoping the ground will have frozen enough that we can ride over those muddy spots and just kind of try to get done here. I probably should have unloaded this before it snowed on it. It's cold. Well, so far we've had issues with the PTO on the 686. I think it had a little moisture in the rear end, and in the rear end, I can't even talk, my lips are frozen. There was moisture in the rear end of the 686, and the PTO didn't want to work. We got that going. Then the elevator chain on the corn picker was frozen because water had collected in the bottom of that and froze one of the paddles in. We got that going, but we broke one of the paddles off. I thought we broke the chain, but it's okay, we're going now. Now we got frozen corn in the wagon, everything's just a little bit of a battle getting started here. I hope it gets better. Oh yeah, and the hose on the diesel fuel barrel got moisture in it, and that froze too, so we had to get that figured out before we could even put fuel in the tractors. Good morning. Good morning. Well, here we go. He's taking the headlands off. If he can get through this, he can probably get through just about anywhere because this was a really greasy mess a few days ago. That lousy snow covered up all my pretty green stuff. Here I am, running wagons, my enthusiasm flagging. This year's been a dud with nothing but mud, so we're picking in a winter wonderland. When I said the cereal rye in the soybean fields needed some moisture for germination, I didn't mean like this. I didn't mean like this. Yeah! Well, this field's all done, and this patch over to my left here is only about 2 acres. and as we can see, Dad's already taken a pretty good bite out of that. The rows are pretty short, so he can take a lot of rounds to fill a wagon. So this should be done pretty soon, and then we've only got one field left to go. So we'll see, we're making good time. Well, I just finished unloading what's gonna probably be the last load that I'm gonna haul for the evening. Dad's still out there, he's finishing up picking the last load that he's gonna pick. It's getting dark, it's cold, really cold, but we're hanging in there. Nobody's really had to quit, so that's good. There's only the two of us, so I don't know. we're doing okay. Yeah, he got into some muddy spots in this last field. He's now in the last field that we have to pick out. It's the most amount of corn in any one field that we still have left to go to, if that makes sense. There's quite a bit, I guess is what you'd say. And but he made a pretty good dent in it, and I think we're going to be able to finish up fairly easily tomorrow morning, as long as nothing breaks down with the equipment. And yeah, this will probably be about it for today. So we're going to wrap it up here and pick it up tomorrow. I guess I'll show you here what we've got for corn in the crib. There's our corn level so far. I would say we're a little below what we were expecting for yield, which is not good because we weren't expecting much anyway. Papa Bear's out there with the lights on, bringing those last few cobs home. There's something about tractors working with their lights on at night like this in the twilight. I don't know, just takes me back to when I was a kid. Well, good morning everyone. It's Saturday here on the farm, and it should be our last day of corn picking. It's a nicer morning than we expected, which is good and bad. It's good because it's nice to work in and better than the cold that we had yesterday. Bad because we're a little worried that the surface of the fields is going to be a little bit greasy, and if that's the case, Dad may have trouble with getting stuck in the field. He's in the field now that's fairly wet on both ends. It's fairly dry in the middle where the middle of the pass or each row is, but on each end where he has to turn around, it gets pretty slick. So hopefully that won't be the case, that he'll be able to get done, because if he can keep moving, we should be done here this morning. And that will be a relief for everyone. So here we go, last push. Giddy up. Cover crop really did well in a lot of spots. So I mean, at least we have that to be happy about, right? Hello everyone. It is a balmy 16 degrees at the farm today. Just wanted to give a quick update here. We are done harvesting. We finished up that morning, as I predicted, and kind of took it easy after that. Did a little bit of cleanup, put away the corn picker and some other things, and now it's Monday here. I'm at the farm and not doing a whole lot. I picked up a couple of little toys here that I'm going to play with over the winter, and pretty much I got to go back to my regular job now. So there'll be some updates, I'm sure, as the winter goes on. I've got a few things kicking around here. A couple of conferences to go to. Albert Lee Seed Company is putting on a free conference for a couple days this month. So I'll probably go down to that and see what I can learn from them. And then in December, there's a conservation tillage conference in St. Cloud. So I'll probably head up there too. Going to be a really good roster of speakers and topics. So, you know, at this point, we're kind of just, I'm kind of thirsty for knowledge and ideas about things that we can do here, even on a small farm. A lot of it's going to be geared towards larger farms, but there's always little niche things that get brought up in conversation, and the networking is always really good. So, you know, just getting to know other guys and talking to them about what they're doing, it can be really valuable to have those connections in your toolkit when you need to solve a problem later on. So, those are things coming up. And I can show you here what I bought today. I picked up at a very reasonable rate a fanning mill. And we used to have one of these on the farm. Actually, hiding behind it is an old John Deere hand crank corn sheller as well. But the fanning mill, for those of you who are not familiar, is used to clean seed. And with our corn harvest having been pretty bad, I've been kicking around ideas for alternate marketing. We thought we might have 3 cribs of corn full. We ended up having 2 cribs full. We can estimate the bushels based on past experience. That's probably 2,000 bushels of shelled corn when you actually shell that out. And that comes out to around 100 bushels an acre, maybe a little less. Not great. A lot of times we've been at 200 or a little over. This was just not a good year for a lot of stuff. But so I am thinking about cleaning some corn, maybe hand shelling and then batch cleaning some corn. And we may try to market that around for like some deer feed or wildlife feed. If it's nice and clean, I think that would be a good thing. You can get a good price on it. It would benefit us to be able to sell directly to our customers. I would much rather sell to local customers than to the big conglomerate elevators anyway. Not that I really have anything against them, but it's just, I feel like it's better when you can keep your transactions within your own community. That actually benefits people you know, so stay tuned, I guess, and I'll offer whatever I can, and for sure we'll see y'all next spring. As you might expect would happen, just as I was wrapping up the end of that last video, my camera battery died, and I didn't even notice until I started editing everything. I was just about to say, if nothing else, we'll see you next spring. But I can assure you at this point it will be sooner than that. I've been doing some clearing, some brush clearing and tree clearing in the pasture, getting ready to rebuild some fences so that we can have some livestock back here. And there's some fixing and restoration work on some equipment and some things that we're going to be doing throughout the winter months as best we can, given the limited facilities we have for working on equipment. We'll have some things to keep an eye on and getting ready for next spring. Been to a couple of nice agricultural conferences, a seed conference down at, well, not really a seed conference, a farming conference down at Albert Lee Seed Company that was really informative and interesting. Got a couple of farm visits scheduled for later this winter to go to talk to some other producers, because networking and idea sharing is really important. I just went to the Conservation Tillage Conference up in St. Cloud. Got to meet Zach Johnson, the millennial farmer. Good guy, just pretty much the kind of person you'd expect from seeing his videos. It was a lot of fun. We had a good conversation. So it's been an interesting winter so far, and have some fun things lined up to keep busy over the winter months. And we're really looking forward to next year. One of the things I really like about going to those conferences is that even though this was a tough year, 2019 was a hard year to be farming, and you get discouraged. You go through all those difficulties and troubles and things that didn't go like you'd hoped, and it makes you pessimistic. But getting out and talking to other guys and planning and making, putting together strategies for new things you can do for the next year, it's one of my favorite things about wintertime, actually. And it gives you hope, and it gives you ideas and motivation, and that's really important. It's a nice reset on your way of thinking and your sense of optimism. So hang tight, and there'll be some fun stuff coming down the pike throughout the winter months.